All of you start in this question, okay? All of you do the full question, the Roman number one, two, and three, all the questions. Once you're done with the full question, raise your hand in Zoom. I gave you extra time now. Quick. Okay, sorry on the delay. Those are done, raise your hand in Zoom. I can see only 14 hands. Only 14 of you are done. Wait, 20 of you are done. Yeah, yeah, yes. Give me a moment. Give me a moment, guys. Wait. Sorry, I got an good interruption. Let's start now. This is the Vishaka paper which we started last part. Good job, Oshli. Nice. Perfect. Good job, Akif. Yes, walaikum salam. Alhamdulillah, it went on well, Zura. Most probably, yes, Surah, not yet started, but why? Why without the website? Okay, let's start. Tudun, tudun, tudun. So the first question says match the description label P2S with the correct term from the list given and the relevant term against each label in the label slash term format. Okay, let's do it. So the first one they have said so they are given you some options FTP, DNS, SMTP, blah, blah, blah. And they ask you to match them with the correct label. The first one used to exchange web document. Web document is basically any resource on the internet. It can be a web page, it can be image, video, anything. Okay. So normally when we're accessing websites, what do you call? We use a protocol. What is the protocol we use? There's a protocol that has to be followed when exchanging web pages between the server and the client. What is the name of that protocol? Perfect. That's going to be the HTTP protocol. So answer for this is going to be HTTP. Then Q. Used to transfer large files of. Give me one moment. Sorry. Used to transfer large files of one computer in the internet to another computer. Okay. Again, that's also protocol only. There's a protocol that we use to transfer files, okay, between now, apart from transferring web pages, between the client and server. So we have the client here, and so we have the client and we have the server. So server is a place that's mostly going to store all of our files, okay? So there is a situation where we might transfer files from one computer to another computer on the internet, mostly where we might upload, like you might send files to the server. So the process of sending files to the server, we call this upload. Okay. Or there will be situations where we're going to get some files from the server to our device, which we call as download. So what is the protocol we use in this file transfer? Perfect. For this file transfer, we use the FTP protocol. So FTP is the protocol we use for this situation. The third one, informing and controlling messages when there are errors. Normally, when you're accessing the internet, there are some errors you will get like 404 error, 503 error. Okay, when you're accessing certain pages, you might get these errors in the web. You might have come across these errors in your browser. So those errors are mostly handled by which protocol? There is a protocol that's in charge to handle errors on the internet. What's that? Perfect. It's the ICMP protocol. Okay, it's the ICMP protocol. And last one, to exchange electronic mails or else emails. Mostly when you're sending emails from one domain to another domain. Like for example, let's say we are sending an email from abc@gmail.com. Okay. abc@gmail.com to let's say xyz@yahoo.com. Now you can see these two are email addresses of two different domains. We are sending from Gmail to Yahoo. So when you're sending emails from one server to another server, again, if it's between Gmail and Gmail, this is not a problem. But when it's between Gmail and Yahoo, these are two different domains now. So when you're exchanging mails from Gmail to Yahoo, when the mails are transferred from one mail server to another mail server, then the data is transferred using what protocol? Perfect. Between email servers, the data is exchanged in SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So if you got these correct, put half marks each. Half, 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 half. Total 2 marks there. Okay. Let me know in the chat how many of you all got the marks out of 2 marks for this question. For Roman number 1. Good job. Perfect. If you have any questions, drop in the chat. Huh? Okay, nice. What's the full form of ICMP? Internet Control Message Protocol. ICMP stands for Internet Control Message Protocol. Is that clear, Asha? Perfect. Consider the following pseudocode given below to display the total of some sequential numbers. Okay. When you say sequential numbers, what do you mean by sequential numbers? It's numbers that are in a what do you call progression. Like for example, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see it's in a progression. Okay. Or for example, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's a progression. It's like it's sequence, it's going in a range, okay, at a stretch. Or if I start from 7, the sequence might be 7, 8, 9, 10 killer. It's a we call it a sequence, a collection of numbers, kind of, right? Dun, 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 dun. There was some things I erased and kept here. Okay. So what do you call the question is saying sum equals 0, number equals 1, repeat something, sum equals something until number is less than 10, display sum end. Okay, fine. Let's see the question first. The first question is saying write the suitable code segment for P and Q. Okay. So if you look at this question here, we can see there is a variable called sum and there's a variable called number. Okay. And there's a repeat until loop. Within the repeat until loop, there are two instructions. There is a condition where until number is less than 10. So that means there is a repetition that's going to happen. Okay, there are two instructions that's going to repeat until the value of number is less than 10. This program is wrong. This program is wrong. Use a different browser for here. Did any of you all figure out that this program is wrong? Did any of you all figure out that this program is wrong? I was confused. Yes, yes, yes. In the third question, shows the correct line though. Yeah, in the third question, shows what would be the output of the statement until number is less than is replaced until number is greater than 10. So if you replace that, then the program will work correctly. But the way the programming is there at the moment, it's not a pseudocode given to display the total of some sequential numbers. No, it's not a sequential numbers. But okay, I'll just show you what if the program was correct, I'll show you what the answer would be. Exactly, and yeah. But again, I can't prove it's wrong as well because the question has not mentioned that we are going to take first 10 numbers. Like the question did not tell it's the sequence. Anyways, Based on how the program is there at the moment, I'll tell you how this program is going to work. When the program starts, we have the value of number, and you can see there is a variable called sum equals something. Now, at the end of the day, when you say display the total of some sequential numbers, what do you mean by that is, let's say we have a set of numbers like this. No, no, it's not. No free marks here. Let's say we have a set of numbers like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are set of numbers. So when you say display the total of some sequential of numbers, what we mean by this is we are going to display the addition of these numbers. So for example, if the numbers were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then the sum of these numbers will be 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 5, 15. And the program has to display this sum. The program should work in such that if you have a set of numbers like this, then the output should be the addition of those numbers. Okay. So we can see at the end of the day, we have a variable called sum that's being displayed here. See, there's a variable called sum that's displayed here. When the program started, the value of sum was 0. That means like sum is that variable that's used to store the total. Okay. And what we are to do is we are to add all the values from the starting value until the ending value. All these values has to be added one after the other. Okay, one after the other, all these values has to be added. So a suitable statement to add that value. Now we have value, we have this variable called number now. To add the value of number to the sum variable. Okay, to add the value of number to the sum variable, we can have an instruction something like this. Sum is equal to sum plus number. Okay, we can write the instruction thing sum equals sum plus number. So what this will do is it will keep on adding the value of number, right? It will add the value of number to sum. There's another error in this program. This program is full of mistakes. Technically, tree has to be number equals number plus 1. And q has to be sum plus number. But we can't do this. We can't do this. I'll tell you why. Listen. Um, when the program started, you can see the value of sum was 0. No, you can't do that, Tazura. I don't know where you can do that. But in the program, there won't be a difference in the program. It's a stupid program. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1. There is a small correction you can do for this program, but then there won't be a purpose of P. Um, if you do this, the program will be correct, but it doesn't make sense. Actually, no, Samik. I'll explain how this program works. Listen. If you look at this program, you can see there's a variable called sum, and the value of sum is 0. There's a variable called number. The value of number is 1. Then we have repeat. I'm saying the repeat, the first instruction should be number is equal number plus 1. Okay. So if I say number equals number plus 1, then the value of number is going to be how much? Okay, we can't do that. If we do that, the program is wrong technically. If I say number equals number plus 1, what is going to be the new value of number? New value is equal current value plus 1. So currently number is 1. So 1 plus 1, right? So what's going to be the new value of number? Correct. When you say number equals number plus 1, the meaning of that is the new value of number is equal to current value of number plus 1. Currently number is 1. So 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. Perfect. The next instruction we have sum equals sum plus 1. So currently sum is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Then we have until number is less than 10. Is number less than 10? Yes. So program stops. Repeat until loop, we check the condition. And in repeat until loop, if the condition is true, the program stops. If the condition is false, the program repeats. That's how repeat until loop works. So here, because the condition is true, the program stops and sum is displayed. 1 is displayed. So if you write these two, it'll give you sequential numbers. It'll give you sequential numbers. Sequential numbers means we're adding 0, after 0, we're adding 1. So 0 and 1 is getting added. So sequential numbers. But okay, wait. Wait. They have not told no. They have not told the starting value. This program has several perspectives because they are not told the starting value. When you see some sequential numbers, the sequential numbers can start from 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So if you are going to include 0 as well, if you are going to start with without starting from 1, if you're going to start from 2, like 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, in that perspective, and this answer is correct. Number equals number plus 1, and sum equals sum plus number. If I put sum equals sum plus, if I put sum equals sum plus number, what will happen is we will not be adding number 1. We'll be starting at from number 2 only. No, it's like I'm justifying the stupidity of this question. How did number become 2? Because I had the instruction number equals number plus 1. If you follow this instruction number equals number plus 1, the value of number becomes 2. And the question is not clear. They are like saying the pseudocode given to display the total of some sequential numbers. So sequential numbers can start from any number you want. Okay. But the point is, if you are going to consider value of number is 1, no. I'll do some modifications for the questions to make it meaningful, okay? Because this question doesn't make sense. For Q, how can we say sum equals sum plus 1? That's what I mentioned, sum equals sum plus 1. We can mention that, but if the question is stupid, no. So what I'm going to do here is I wrote the number column first and sum. That's what you should do in number equal number plus 1. That's the order of the driver, is not a big deal. I'm going to do some modifications for the questions to make it meaningful, because if I don't do that modifications, the question is going to be stupid. Um, the first modification I'm going to do is I'm going to say number equals 0. No, that modification also will not make sense. The modification I'm going to do is I'm going to say first modification I'm going to do is I'll be like I'll take the sum equals up because otherwise the question will be stupid. To display the total of some sequential numbers. And the next modification I'm going to do is I'm going to change this until number is less than 10 to I'm going to change this number to until number is greater than 10. I'm pretty sure all of you all did the question like this. Even though you all didn't notice these errors, this is how you all did the question. But yeah, no, Rida. That will be correct only if the question is correct. How do you find there is a mistake? Okay, I'll tell you how I found there is a mistake. First thing, why I did these two corrections is basically if I have to figure out what is P and Q. Okay. And as per how the question gave, the question started Q with sum equals. Question started Q with sum equals. So there could be two possible answers mostly for this. Either I can mention sum equals sum plus one, or else I had to mention something like sum equals sum plus number. Now, if I mention sum equals sum plus number, the problem I have here is okay. The problem I have here is that the starting value for number will be 2. It will be because what happens is initially the value of number was 1. And if I run the instruction saying number equals number plus 1, the value of number will become 2. So it's going to be sum equals 0 plus 2, and that's going to be 2. So suppose let's say it's repeat. Suppose let's say it repeats, then the value of sum is going to be 2, and then it will become 3, 4, 5. So like for example, the program will have the addition of 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be there. So the reason why I said these two has to be swept. Okay, the reason why I said these two has to be swept is because of that. But the question has not told a limit. That's what I'm wondering. The question has not told a limit to take, okay, sum is going to be this. They have not told that we are going to add the first 10 numbers, first 11 numbers. They have just mentioned we're going to add a collection of sequential numbers. So therefore, I can't exactly tell the question is wrong because the way the question is there also we can do. Like we can do the question like this also. We can do the question like this also. If I do the question like this, my answer would be something like this. If I do the question as it is, I can justify my answer and I can tell the correct answer is something like this. Sum equals sum plus number. And I will be like, the value of P, the value of Q. And for the value of sum, I'll be like 0 plus 2. That's going to be 2. And I'll tell you that number is less than 10. It's going to be true. If it's true, the program stops. Value of sum is 2. So for the first question, I'll be like the answer. Second question, I'll be like the answer is basically 2. Technically, the answer is correct. Because again, the question did not tell where we are going to start from. The question is just told sequential numbers. So it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll go in the way the question is there itself without doing any modifications. So if I don't do any modifications, this is how the program is going to work. By the way, Zura, your answer is correct as well. You can use that sum equals sum plus 1. That's also correct. Why number equals number plus 1? The reason why number equals number plus 1 is because we want to add the sequential numbers. Sequential numbers means the numbers one after the other. So the first, if I take the first number as 1, next I have to add the next number. After 1, what is the next number? 2. After 2, what is the next number? 3. So when you say I want to take the sum of the sequential numbers, I want to add the numbers that are next to each other, incrementing by 1. That will I have this instruction number equals number plus 1. Tell me, did you all, apart from these two answers for P and Q, is there any other answers you all wrote for P and Q? One of you all wrote sum equals sum plus 1. Technically, I can give marks for that as well as per this question because the question is not precise. Because the question is not precise, even sum equals sum plus 1, I can give you marks. But any other answers apart from these two? You all wrote. I wrote display number and then sum equals sum plus number for Q. Sum equals sum plus number for Q. No. If you mention display number for P, the problem we have is we are going to display the numbers. We are not displaying the total. So in your program, it will display something like one. Only the number one will get displayed, Andrea. Because in your program, the value of number is not changing. No, value of number is going to be always one. Makes sense. So it's not sequential numbers. The same number is being repeated. Num equals num plus 2. If you say num equals num plus 2, it's going in a progression. But even though it's going in a progression, we don't call it as a sequence. We can't consider that as a sequence indirectly. I wrote it but forgot to mention sum equals. You don't have to mention sum equals. You just have to mention only the highlighted parts. Only the part called sum plus number. That's fine, Shada. If sum is greater than 0, Akil, then you have the if, end if and all those stuffs because it's pseudocode, no? So that's not acceptable. If you write number plus 1, then isn't the sum going to be counted from 2 onwards? It is going to be counted from 2 onwards. But the thing is, the question has not told that they want the numbers from 1. The question has said some sequential numbers. So it can be starting from anywhere. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be 3, 4, 5. Make sense? Yeah, that's correct, Tabina. Okay. So the third question, what would be the output if the statement until number is less than 10 is replaced by until number is greater than 10? Okay. So if we replace this until number is less than 10, if we change that until number is greater than 10, let me show you how the program works. Look at the screen, all of you. Ayo, all the scribbling marks came. Okay. So when the program started, no, I was erasing the paper earlier. The program started, the value of sum was 0, and the value of number was 1. So when you say the P, for P I mentioned here is number equals number plus 1. So after I follow the instruction number equals number plus 1, because when you say number equals number plus 1, the meaning of that is new value of number is equal to current value of number plus 1. So let's say the current value of number is 1. So 1 plus 1 becomes 2. So the value of number becomes 2. Then we have sum equals sum plus number. So when we have sum equals sum plus number, again I'm using short form because to save space. Again, the new value of sum is equal to current value of sum plus current value of number. If we look at the table, currently sum is 0, currently number is 2. So 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. Okay. Then we have this condition is number less than 10. But the question asks us to change that to until number is greater than 10. So if you go and check, is the value of number greater than 10? Currently is 2 greater than 10. Answer is no, false. Repeat until loop, what happens is if the condition is false, you again repeat the instructions. So repeat until loop, the condition is true, you stop. If the condition is false, we again repeat. So because it's false, I'm going to again repeat. Yeah, Ira. So you again repeat here. We have what you call number equals number plus 1. Currently number is 2. So number plus 1 means 2 plus 1. Okay, again same instruction. N equals n plus 1. So currently number is 2. So 2 plus 1, that's going to be equal to 3. Then we have sum equals sum plus number. Currently, you can see sum is 2 and number is 3. So 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Then you again come and check is number greater than 10 because again the condition is changed here. No? Is number greater than 10? Is 3 greater than 10? No, false. So it again keeps on repeating. So now when you say number equals number plus 1, currently number is 3, right? So after you follow this instruction number equals number plus 1, what will be the new value of number? Perfect. The new value of number is going to be 4. Exactly. Then we have sum equals sum plus number. Sum is 5, number is 4, number sum plus number is 5 plus 4. That's going to be 9. Then again we come and check is number greater than 10. Number is 4. Is 4 greater than 10? No, false. Repeats. Again we're going to say number equals number plus 1. Number is going to be 5. Sum equals sum plus number. 9 plus 5, 14. Is number greater than 10? No, false. So therefore we again repeat. Sum number equals number plus 1. So number becomes 6. Sum equals sum plus number. 14 plus 6 is 20. Then again we come and check is number greater than 10. No, so answer is again false. Then we have again the repetition. Number equals number plus 1. Now number becomes 7. Sum equals sum plus number. 20 plus 7 is 27. And then we have is number greater than 10. Is 7 greater than 10? Again, no, false. So we again repeat. Number equals number plus 1. Number is going to be 8. Sum equals sum plus number. 27 plus 8. That's going to be 27, 7, 14, 15, 35. And then we have is number greater than 10? Again, no, false. So we again repeat sum equals sum plus number. It's going to become 9. And then, so number equals number plus 1, that's going to become 9. Sum equals sum plus number, 35 plus 9, that's going to be 44. Then we come and check is number greater than 10. Is 9 greater than 10? Still no, false. So we again repeat number equals number plus 1. So number is going to become 10. Sum equals sum plus number, 44 plus 10 is 54. Then we have what you called is number greater than 10. Is 10 greater than 10? Again, no, false. So we again repeat number equal number plus 1. Number is going to become 11. And now we have sum equals sum plus number. 54 plus 11 is going to be 65. Then we are going to see is sum is number greater than 10. Now if you check is number greater than 10, it's going to be true. So because we got true, the repeat and loop will stop and we go for the instruction after this. Instruction after the display sum. So the output is going to be the value of sum. Sum is 65. So you get the answer for this question as 65. And for this, the answer is 2. For the value of P, it's going to be number equals number plus 1. And Q is going to be sum plus number. Is this the answer you all got as well? I'll check, Shadu. Isn't it 66, 45, 45, 55, 65? Those who did this question, what are the answers you all got? Did you all get 65 or 66? 65. I stopped in 44. No, 44 is wrong. 65 is what others got, Suraya. Anyways, so this is how the program works. So one thing I'll clarify all here. This question is not talking about adding the numbers from 1 to 10 or adding the numbers from 2 to 10. It's not something like that. It's 54, sorry, not 55. Okay. This question is talking about any random numbers. We're going to add random numbers. Only thing is it has to be in a sequence. So sequence means if I start from 3, I have to go from something like 3, 4, 5, something like that. If I start from 10, the sequence will be 10, 11, 12. So that's what a sequence is. So the question has told only about the part called sequence. They not told any other data. So based on the given data, this is the correct answer which you can get. Anyways, those who have any questions, let me know your questions. Others in terms of marks, put for getting P correct, put 1 mark. For Q correct, 1 mark. For output 2, 1 mark. Output 65, 1 mark. And let me know your marks out of 4 marks. 36 plus 9 is 45, right? You wrote 44. 36 plus 9. 27 plus 8 is 30. It's not 36, it's 35. It's not 36, it's 35. Before 35, it's 27. Those who did this question, tell me out of 4 marks, how many marks I got. And others, let me know your doubts in the chat. Yeah. I would tell this question is kind of not precise. I would not. It's not that it's hard. It's not a hard question. It's just that it's not precise. You have lots of there is like, for example, even though I gave you the answers like this, there are more answers I could give you as well. Like the sample space is high here, to be honest. We can't assume and take 1, 2, 3, 4. No, because they have not told that we're starting from 1. It's a stupid question. Kind of, yeah. Anyways, next one. Write the suitable statements for P, Q, R, and S according to the given pseudocode segment. So first we have the begin. Begin is mentioned as start. Okay, fine. Get A, enter A. C equals 2. Here also C equals 2 there. So here I can mention is C less than 5. Then here I mention yes. Here I mention no. If C is less than 5, then yes, C equals C plus 1. A equals A plus. It's just the same thing. We just copy and paste here. And if it's no, print A. So print A, you can say print A, you can say display A, anything is fine. Any other synonym is also fine. It's an easy program. The question is asking the balance for PQRS, but apart from PQRS, you have to figure out the value of yes and no as well. Because without the yes and no data, you can't do this question. So the yes and no also has to be values, you have to figure it out. But yeah, this is a straightforward question. What we do is whatever we have there, we just write here. And how I know this is yes, how I know this is no is because in while loop, you follow the instructions inside the loop only if the condition is true. Only if the condition gives you yes, you follow the instructions inside. That's why I put this under yes. Others are the same thing. Anyways, those are any questions drop in the chat. They feel sympathetic for the students when making the paper, I guess. Yeah, they again very easy question here. There's nothing in this question. Isn't it print A? You can mention any synonyms. Display A, show A, print A, anything is fine. Any questions, anyone? Actually, you wanted the orange one, right? Okay. In terms of marks, you already not follow the draw the flow chart. Okay, fine. If you mention the value of P correct, 1 mark. If the value of Q is correct, 1 mark. If you got the value of R correct, 1 mark. S correct, 1 mark. And tell me out of actually it's a half marks question. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's 4. Okay, 1 mark each. Put 1 mark each and tell me out of 4 marks, how many marks you got here? Could you put it to the first part question to get a screenshot? Could you put it up to the first part? Yeah, I'll show you. you have any questions, drop in the chat. Okay, this paper has only that much. Let's go for the next one. Let's take the new paper now. Tudun, 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 tudun. Okay, first do these four questions, all of you. I'll give you around 8 minutes. I'll put your hands down. So once you're done with this question, raise your hands up. Huh? If you have any doubts, drop in the chat. By the way, this is a new paper. I'll share the paper in the class group later. By the way, if there's any of you all who are new, you're supposed to maintain a separate writing book for paper class. In the WhatsApp group, I'll share all the PDFs, link, all the stuffs. The name of this paper is Royal Institute Second Term Test, Grade 11. See the paper. Sorry. Someone sent me the provincial paper as well. I think it was. I'll check that later. Why, Hannah? What makes it looks like that? Most probably, I think no. Anyway, start doing this question, all of you. I'll keep my audio and video off, but I'm here only. So if you have a doubt, drop in chat. Once you're done with the four questions, raise your hand in Zoom. Let me check and we are. There's a different patterns and my setting. Use the arithmetic progression knowledge. The time is up. But only 14 of you all did the question. Very easy question. 20. Okay, let's check your answer. The question says the teacher in a particular school are expected to mark their attendance using a fingerprint machine which is connected to a computer system. The system generates a monthly attendance report. Write down one example for an input and one example for an output of the above information system. Okay, so one example they want for input and one example they want for output, right? So in terms of input, in this situation, to mark the attendance using fingerprint machine, there's a thing which we have to give for the machine, which is our fingerprint. So your fingerprint is going to be an input. And then apart from that, they have mentioned the system generates a monthly attendance report. So that is something the system is going to give us. So we can call that as an output, the monthly attendance report. So how you differentiate what is an input or what is an output is always in the ideology of when you have a system, a program, a software, whatever, if there is any situation where a human has to give a data for the system, so we call humans as users, okay? If there's any situation a user has to give a data for a system, we consider that as an input. And if there's any situation where a system has to give a data for the user, we consider that as an output. So for this fingerprint system to work, the user has to give his fingerprint, and that's going to be the input. And at the month end, the user can get the report. That's the output. Why is it done? Yeah, I was going to say that, Farah. Is it Surya? Next. Write down two facilities provided by an LMS for students. Okay. When you take learning management systems in your grade 10 syllabus, grade 10 first lesson, we learned the advantage of LMS for two parties. One is for students, another one is for teachers or for the school. So in this question, they are asking the perspective of the students. So in terms of students, one of the advantage you all can get is through the learning management system, you can upload assignments. Assignments are like homeworks. Okay, upload assignments. This is one advantage. Another advantage of an LMS is through an LMS, you can obtain resources. What I mean by obtain resources are, for example, let's say, you know, you want, let's say I want now, if you take our classes, if you go for the Master Online website, Master Online is also a learning management system. It has limited features based on our convenience and based on our purpose. But if I go for the learning management system through this website, you can actually obtain the tute. If you come for my classes, you all know. Let me take a random class. For these class, I'm going to assign the tute. Why this profile doesn't have any classes? These are all last old classes. Okay, here you can see what do you call? I have assigned the tutes. If I go and click on view, I can see the PDF version of the tute. Okay, so these are some these are test accounts, so this doesn't have any classes. But if you all go for your account, which you all purchase our theory class from, you will notice sometimes you can see the PDF version of the tute. Okay, so I have one doubt. If the input and output are same, the process is not needed. Is it is correct or not? It's wrong because what happens is, Pramila, we enter the data and the process is storing the data. So what will happen is it will store the data you entered, then it will return back to the stored data. So there is a process there as well. Make sense? For output can say that the attendance is marked. That's not mentioned in the paragraph, so we can't use that as a data. And technically, marking the attendance is a process, Murray. Accessing learning materials, notes, and video resources. Yes, that's also correct. That's what obtain resources. So apart from uploading assignments, we can obtain resources, and apart from that, we can also what do you call? We have Q&A forum. Now, in certain LMS, there you can obtain even a Q&A forum. Q&A forum means like a platform where you can post your questions and others can answer. Actually, earlier Rizlan's class we had a Q&A forum. Temporarily it's down, but we'll be bringing that again soon. So through a Q&A forum, you can go and post your doubts. Others can answer. It's something like that. Okay. I just wrote attendance. Add the part called attendance report and give marks. Parents can track the child's progress. That's also a correct answer. Parents can track child's progress. Correct. Can we present and absent for output? No, Zura can't. Ability to learn from anywhere at any time. That's not a facility provided by LMS. That's the advantage of using ICT in education. Q&A, you mentioned Q&A forum. Can see video recordings. That's what obtaining resources means. Anytime, learn from anywhere, anytime. That's mostly not a facility. So better avoid that. Can you say tracing or progress? Yes, that's what I mentioned. Parents can track children's progress. E-learning, ebooks. Yes, that comes under obtaining resources. So ebooks come under e-resources. Submit assignment. That's what uploading assignments is. Okay, so these are four answers. Apart from this, there's one more answer that is uploading assignments, obtaining resources, Q&A forums, parents can talk share, video conferencing. So certain LMS, it gives you the option to, conduct Zoom meetings as well. Like for example, through the LMS, Mastodon and LMS, you can join Zoom classes as well. So that's also an advantage. Okay. Is uploading assessments can submit homeworks digitally? That's both one answer. Co-curricular activities, that doesn't come under LMS. Instead of opting resources, is it fine to write ebooks? Completely fine. Because ebooks is an example for a resource. So yeah, you can mention this or any other answers similar to this. So if you mention any answers here, half marks each, total 1 mark there. Four characters through video. I'll double check on that time. But that's what video conferencing about is. Write the names of two types of computer networks according to the geographical distribution. Okay, based on geographical distribution, meaning distance. Based on distance, we can categorize computer networks into three categories in your as per what you all have learned. So, what are those three categories? What do you call the one that is in a small distance, like very small distance, like within a flow in office? How do you call that as? What type of network? The output of one system can act as the input for another system. True. That's correct, Shisha. This means data information to related terms wrong. A system always fails. Wrong. All data is wrong. Information processing is not necessary. The output of one system can act as an input for another system. Data and information are two relative terms. All data is wrong. System always fails. Information processing is not necessary. Answer the first one there, Shishan. Data and information are two relative terms. Yeah. What you called LAN is the one where you have a smaller distance. Then MAN is the one that you have medium distance. Like for example, within a city, you can have two branches and all. That's like MAN. How do you call the communication that happens between two countries and all those stuffs? What type of network is that? The larger network. Correct. That's bad. So you can put, they're asking only two types. So you can put half marks each, total 2 marks there. So total 1 mark there. Any questions, drop in the chat. By the way, for the first question, you get 1 mark for this and 1 mark for this. Then Roman number 3. Consider the following statements. So consider the following pseudocode segment blank space the label A to C, which calculates and displays a sum of odd numbers between 0 and 10. Write down a suitable expression. Okay, so here we want to find the sum of odd numbers between 0 and 10. Between 0 and 10, the odd numbers we have a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. These are the odd numbers between 0 and 10, right? So we want to add them together. Okay, we want a program that can add them together. Now, initially, you can see the value of sum is 0, value of num is 1. Okay. And we have a while loop here. And while the instruction is true, there are two instructions. One instruction you can see modifies the value of some variable. The other instruction modifies the value of num variable. Now, before you do this question, you have to have a rough idea of what do you mean by the variable called num and what do you mean by the variable of or sum. Before you find the answer for this question, there is a mistake in this question. What is it? I'll explain this, but before I explain, there's a mistake in this question. I'm surprised none of you come and tell me this mistake. Anyways, what is the mistake you all can see in this question? Andrea, correct? Amina, correct? Because of people not testing properly with her. Some are correct. Shafra is correct. Rayyan, correct. Okay, so the problem is Sarida, correct. Akil, correct. So the problem is they have mentioned here as display num. What should we display? Num or sum? Exactly. We should display the value of sum because num is a variable that is used because you can see num is starting with 1. The value of num is starting with 1. So that means we can tell, okay, the value of num is 1. And then the value of num will become 3, 5, 7, all the stuffs. And the value of sum is going to be 0. And what we're going to do is initially sum will be 0. And then one by one, we're going to add these values. First of all, we might add 1. Then we might add the next number, which is 3. Then we might add the next number, which is 5. Then we might add the next number, which is 7, like that. Okay. So sum is a variable that's going to have the addition of all these values. Now, initially, the value of num is 1. Tell me, after 1, if I want to go to 3, after 3, if I want to go to 5, after 5, if I want to go to 7, is there a progression we can see here? Is there an arithmetic progression we can notice here? These odd numbers. Yes. It's increasing by how much? Correct. It's increasing by 2. So therefore, for this place, we can say num is equal to num plus 2. And then for here, we can say sum equals sum plus num. So now what's going to happen is initially the value of sum is 0. Okay. Initially, the value of the sum variable will be 0. And initially, the value of num variable will be 1. Then when we are going to run the first instruction inside the repetition, what is the first instruction here? Sum equals sum plus num. So when we say sum equals sum plus num, we are saying the new value of sum is equal to current value of sum plus num. So 0 plus 1, that's going to be 1. Then we are saying num equals num plus 2. All these time num was 1. So when we say num equals num plus 2, 1 plus 2, value of num is going to become 3. Then we again repeat, I'll tell you what the condition is going to be, wait. So when we again repeat, we are going to say sum equals sum plus num. Sum is now 1, num is now 3. Sum plus num means 1 plus 3, that's going to be 4. Then we have num equals num plus 2. Currently num is 3. So num plus 2 means 3 plus 2, num is going to become 5. And again, it's going to repeat. Sum equals sum plus num. So now sum is now 4, num is 5. So 4 plus 5 is 9. The num equals num plus 2. Current num is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Then we again repeat sum equals sum plus num. That's going to be 9 plus 7, which is 16. And then num equals num plus 2. That's going to become 9. 7 plus 2 is 9. Then we again go and repeat sum equals sum plus num. 16 plus 9 is going to be 25. Num equals num plus 2. 9 plus 2 is 11. And from here, the program has to stop. Because why? Now, by this time, we have added all these numbers together. See, 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. 16 plus 9 is 25. Okay, so only these numbers has to be added together. Is that part clear of how I figured the value of sum and the value of B and C? Sum equals sum plus 1, num equals num plus 2. That's wrong. Is it compulsory to do this to get A? To do what? I'm just showing how the program works. No, I'm just showing how the program works. Now, what happens here is the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. We have to add the values of 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. The program should add the value of 9, but it should not add the value of 11. So, a condition now, along with the word called while, we write a condition here now. The condition we can mention here is we can mention while the value of num is, okay, the value of num is there starting as 1 now. While the value of num is less than or equal to 10, or else you can also mention while the value of num is less than 11. So for A, there are two possible answers. For A, you can mention while num is less than 11, or you can also mention while num is less than or equal to 10. Both the answers are correct. Why, Hana? If we did this in Pascal, the values goes infinite. No. Why will it go infinite? We have done this in Pascal for information. I have showed this in the class as far as I can remember. Can't we mention less than 10? You can mention, yes, we can mention less than 10 as well because you want 9, no? So you can mention while num is less than 10, or you can also mention while num is less than or equal to 9. This is also correct. All these four answers are correct for A. I think this is more suitable. Out of all the answers, I guess this is the most suitable answer which you could mention. But again, all these four answers are correct. Huh? So that's the value of A, this is the value of B, and this is the value of C. So in terms of marks, you have to mention the label dash expression format. So you mention something like A equals this, and then you mention B equals sum plus num. C is num plus 2. So you can give the marks something like this. 1 mark for this, half marks for this, and half marks for this. Any questions anyone have there? Have any questions? Drop in the chat. Huh? What's the answer for second B part about networks? LAN, man, man. Okay, draw the truth table for the logical circuit given below. Right. Normally, we're not drawing the truth table. We'd have one column each for every input. So in these questions, the input columns are going to be A, B, and C. After you have one column each for every input, every output also has to have one column. Here we have an AND gate. The result of this AND gate is going to be A dot B. Here we have an OR gate. For the OR gate, the input are B is one input, C is one input. Okay. So normally how you find the result is first of all write the inputs. One of the input is B, keep a small space and write the next input C. Okay, B and C are the input. In between the inputs, we mention a symbol. To represent OR gate, the symbol we use is plus. See, to represent AND gate, we use dot, OR gate, we use plus. Then now if you see, here we have a NAND gate. Okay. For this NAND gate, the input from the top is A dot B. So first of all, I'll mention the A dot B part. Keep a small space and mention the input from the bottom. That's B plus C. There is one more rule you have to keep in your mind. If your input has multiple characters, meaning multiple letters, then use a bracket for it. Okay. Now you can see the previous ones and all, the input did not have multiple characters. So I wrote it as it is. Here the input has multiple characters, two letters here, two letters here. So I put brackets. To represent NAND gate, we use two symbols. We use a dot in between the input and dash for the whole input. Okay, that's how the NAND gate works. So in terms of the truth table, we'll have one column each for A, B, and C. Then for every output, we'll have one column. So A dot B is going to have one column. B plus C is going to have one column. And for the output, you can mention here A dot B dot B plus C whole thing dash. Normally, NAND gate is formed by combining two gates, right? What are the two gates we use to form the NAND gate? To form the NAND gate is coming under a category called combination logic gates. So NAND gate is formed by combining two gates together. What are they? Perfect. NAND gate is formed by combining the AND gate and the NOT gate together. For example, if I have the input as A and B, okay, A and B goes to the AND gate and then it goes to the NOT gate. Okay, so normally when A and B goes to the AND gate, it becomes A dot B. When this A dot B goes to the NOT gate, A dot B becomes A dot B whole thing dash. That's how the whole process works. Okay. So what happens here is same thing here as well. When you have something like A dot B plus C, what you notice here is you can see there's a dot in between the inputs. This dot is representing the present of AND gate. This dash is representing the present of the NOT gate. Same thing like this here. The input is A and B. We have A dot B, and then the A dot B goes to the NOT gate and becomes A dot B whole thing dash. Same thing here as well. If we have A dot B plus C. So NAND gate we have both the AND gate as well as a NOT gate. Now when you're drawing the truth table to make your work easy, if you want, you can separate both of them and write without taking the NAND gate at once. You can normally if you take NAND gate for this, it will look like this. No, if A and B are the inputs, both of them go for the NAND gate. It will be A dot B whole thing dash to represent NAND gate. Okay, to represent NAND gate, we use a dot and whole thing dash. Okay. So what you can do is drawing the truth table without just mentioning only the final output, you can show the breakdown. That is, you can show the AND gate first and the NOT gate second. That will make your work easy. Okay. So if I'm going to do like that, the result will be something like this: A dot B dot B plus C. And the final column is going to be A dot B dot B plus C whole thing dash. So what I have done here is I have broken the NAND gate into AND gate and NOT gate, two different columns. Is that clear? Hana, did it make sense how I got that output? This A dot B is the input that came from the top. B plus C is the input that came from the bottom. If you use NAND gate to represent NAND gate, we have two symbols, dot between the input and whole thing dash. Perfect. Now, you can find the number of rows if you know the number of inputs. Okay. So number of each, in a truth table, each row represents a situation. In a truth table, can we write without the breakdown together as one? Yes, you can write together. Breakdown will make your work easy. Okay. So normally in truth table, every row in a truth table represents something called as a situation or a possibility. Okay. So every row represents a situation. So number of rows are equal to 2 to the power number of inputs. Now in this circuit, we have 3 inputs. So number of rows is going to be equal to 2 to the power 3. That's going to be how much? That's going to be 8. Okay, so there are 8 rows. So how you fill you can now draw it of 8 rows after that. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You start filling from the right side corner input. If the right side corner input is C, just go in the pattern of filling of 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 until last row, just go on filling in that pattern. Now you go for the next input and you double it. So here we use single values. So double of 2 is a double of, these are single values. No? So double of that is 2, right? So two zeros, two ones. Two zeros, two ones. The next column will double it. So what is the double of 2? So if I use two zeros, here I use how many zeros? So double of 1 is 2, double of 2 is perfect. The double of 2 is 4. Double of 2 is 4, not addition of 1. I'm saying double. So double of 2 is 4. So that's going to be 4 zeros and 4 ones. So always keep in mind in truth table, start from the right side corner input, go in the pattern of 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Every column you have on the left side, double the input number of zeros and number of ones. Okay. That's how you fill the inputs. Now the first column has A dot B. We're going to compare the A column with the B column using the AND gate because A dot B means between A and B there is an AND gate. So we're going to compare the value of the A column and the value of B column using AND gates logic. So AND gate has idea of it goes and checks is all the inputs one. Okay, AND gate goes and checks is everything one. How will it form? What do you mean by how will it form? So we're going to compare the value of A and B. For A, I wrote like 0, 1, 0, 1. Better go in this pattern because these are normally standard pattern. It's not that it's wrong going in different order. If you go in this order, it's better. Because sometimes what happens, even though I wrote this in this order, you can even swap the order. You're not going to lose the marks. I mean, you're not technically wrong. But the problem is one thing you have to keep in your mind when teachers are marking paper, don't think that you're the only student's paper they're marking. They might be marking 50s and hundreds of papers. So when they are marking the papers, they're not going to check row by row. There are 8 rows here. They're not going to check row by row. They might sometimes see only the last column and they might see the last column correct. So sometimes your answer might be correct, but the order might be jumbled. So because you have jumbled the order, sometimes unwantedly you're going to lose marks. So best is to stay in the standard way. If it has two inputs A and B, how does a truth table form? If you have two inputs, then we have only 4 rows. I start with 4 ones and 4 zeros. Again, I'm saying if you go, even though you swap the order, even though your answer is going to be correct, the risk you are going to have, Akhil, is your teacher going to spend time and look at each and every row? Because sometimes your teachers don't mark the papers as well. They might give their cousins to mark, their children to mark, their sisters or siblings to mark. So in those, sometimes the people who are going to mark, they will just look at the marking scheme and they'll see is your answer matching with the marking scheme. So even though your answer is correct, just because you have shuffled the order, unwantedly you're going to lose marks. So don't unwantedly take that risk is my advice. Not that you're wrong. Just to be in a safe side, don't go out of the order. So first one we have A dot B. We're going to compare the value of A and B and C. Are both of them one? Because are all the inputs one? So look at the all the rows of A and B and tell me what are the rows you can see both A and B one? Like all the inputs A and B one. Now we're going to compare only the value of A and B. See, because AND gate is there only between A and B. So compare the value of A and B and tell me in which row you can see all the inputs one. All mean A is one input, B is one input for the AND gate, right? So which row has all the inputs one? Exactly. Only the last 2 rows. So only for the last 2 rows we write 1. For all other rows we write 0. Because we're going to go and check are both the values A and B 1? No. Are both the values A and B 1? No. Are both the values A and B 1? No. Are both the values A and B 1? No. Here also if you go and check are both the value of A and B 1? No. Here if you check are they both the values A and B 1? No. Here and here if you check are both the values A and B 1? The answer is yes. So that's how you fill this column. Next. Next we have B plus C. So when you say B plus C, you can see between B and C, they have used the OR gate. So plus represents the OR gate, no? So between B and C, you have the OR gate. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to compare only the B column and C column because we have B plus C. So we're going to compare only B and C using OR gate. Okay. So how OR gate works is OR gate goes and checks if either one of the input or is any of the input one. Any or else either inputs are one. That's how the OR gate works. Okay. So when you go and check in the first row, if you go and check, if you go and check each and every row, tell me What are the rows we have either B or C1? Because we're going to compare only B and C. Yeah? So we are going to see is any of the inputs one, is any of the inputs one, is any of the inputs one. So likewise, if you see, what are the rows we have either one of the inputs as one? Exactly. If you go and check the first row is either one of the inputs one, answer is no. Second row is either one of the inputs one, yes. Third row is either one of the inputs one, yes. Fourth row is either one of the inputs one, yes. Fifth row is either one of the inputs one, no. Sixth row is either one of the inputs one, yes. Seventh row is either one of the inputs one, yes. Eighth row is either one of the inputs one, yes. So all gates go and check is either one of the input one. That's how it works. Let's see, Surya. Next, we have A dot B dot B plus C. Now you can see between both the brackets, we have used the AND gate. Dot represents AND gate. So AND gate is there between the A dot B and B plus C. So that means we have to compare this column, A dot B column, with B plus C column. These are two columns we have to compare using the AND gates logic. Okay. These are the two columns we have to compare using AND gates logic because A dot B is one input, B plus is another input. Between both these input, AND gate is used. AND gate goes and checks is all the inputs one. So tell me, when you compare all these rows, what are the rows we have all the inputs one? Again, we are going to compare only the value of A dot B and B plus C, which means the two highlighted columns. So compare the two highlighted columns and tell me what are the rows we can see all the inputs one. Perfect. See, only the last two rows is there. So only the last two rows is going to give you one. All other rows are going to give you zero. That's how this column is going to fit. Then the last column is going to be there A dot B plus C whole thing dash. So here what happens is the dash is used. So dash is a NOT gate and the NOT gate is applied for this input. This is the input for the NOT gate. So that means we're going to take this C A dot B dot plus B plus C. This is the input for the NOT gate. Okay. So that means we're going to write the opposite of that input. We're going to write the opposite of that row. So if you're going to write the opposite of that row, if 0 is the input here, opposite of that is going to be 1. If 0 is input here, opposite of that is going to be 1. If 0 is here, opposite of that is going to be 1. If 0 is here, opposite of that is going to be 1. If 0 is here, opposite of that is going to be 1. If 0 is here, the opposite of that is going to be 1. If 1 is here, opposite is 0. If 1 is here, opposite is 0. So this is how the answer is going to be. Is that clear, all of you? And keep in mind, in the truth table, when teachers are marking, they don't care about the middle column. The main important columns are only the input columns and then the final output column. Okay, the input column and this final output column is that that's the important column when marking papers. They don't care about the remaining columns. So even if you made mistakes, even though you make mistakes in the middle, it's very rare they'll notice it. But if you make mistakes here, there's high chance of getting it wrong. Anyways, we got the truth table correct. I don't care about the middle columns, only the highlighted columns I need. Okay. So if the highlighted columns are correct, you can put 2 marks there. Again, the order is not a problem, meaning you can write this row second, this row first. You can swap the order. I don't care about that. The point I'll be checking is when A, B, and C, when all three values were 0, was output 1. Okay. When A, B, C, when all the values were 1, is output 0. When A was 0, B and C was 1. If this was order, was output 1. So just cross check like that. And if your answer is correct, put 2 marks there. That's how marks are, Ziran. For each column, we will get marks. No. Only for the last column and the first 3 columns we get marks technically. Like technically how it works is half marks each, half marks for this, half marks for this, half marks for this. But sometimes they will not give you marks if your answer is wrong. Like if your last column is completely wrong, you might get 0 marks. So here I'm going to give you only for the whole thing. If the whole thing is correct, only you get marks. Okay, so for now, tell me out of 8 marks, how many marks you all got? Understandable, Zita. It's like maths. If one mistake, whole marks will go. Kind of, yes. But again, if you make small mistakes, they will give you marks in different places. Again, depends the teacher. Kind of, yes, Sada. Okay, we have 7 more minutes. Do the question number 5. I'll give you all around 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes is not enough. I'll give you around 3 minutes. No? Only the question number 5. Put your hands down. So once you're done, raise your hands up. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. Huh? Good job. Yeah. If it was you who is marking the paper, will you give marks? If you got the last column correct, at least if your inputs were correct, if you got the last column wrong, and at least if your inputs were correct, I might give you like 1 mark, like 1 out of 2 for this question. Anyways, quickly do the 5th question. Once you're done, raise your hand. Okay, let's check your answer. Your time is up. First question, convert the octal number 667 to its binary equivalent. Okay, easy question. So when you take octal number 667, 667. Exactly, Hadar. When you take octal number system, octal is a number system that was, I told, octal and hexadecimal. They were created to shorten binary, right? So behind one octal digit, how many binary digits are hiding? We have octal number, right? Behind each and every digit, how many bits are hiding? Bits means binary digit. Perfect. Octal is a number system where behind every character or every digit, there are how many bits hiding? Perfect. 3 bits hiding. So we are going to figure out what those 3 bits are. To do that, first of all, let's write every number separately. So every digit separately. 6 is one digit, middle digit is 6, 7 is the rest. To figure out what those 3 bits are, what we are going to do is we are going to write the first 3 binary digits place value. 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2. Okay. The first 3 bits place value, I'm going to write below every digit like this. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. I'm going to circle the place values we need to form the respective digit. To form 6, I need to add 4 and 2 together. To form 6, I need 4 and 2 together. To form 7, I need all three, so I'm circling. Okay, I just circle the place values I need to form the respective digit. Below the numbers I need, I write 1. Below the numbers I don't need, I write 0. Now, when you join them together, you have the final answer as 110, 110, 111, base 2. So this is the binary value that's equivalent to 667. If you got this answer correct, put 1 mark there. If you have any question, drop in the chat. Convert the binary number blah 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 to its hexadecimal. Okay, I told you octal and hexadecimal, they are number systems that was used to shorten binary. Octal was shortening by taking 3 bits as one digit. So these 3 bits you can see as one digit here. These 3 bits as one digit. These 3 bits as one digit, right? So hexa also is shortening, but hexa shortened the binary into how many bits by how many bits? Hmm? Hexa was a number system used to shorten binary by how many bits by how many bits? Double check your answer then, Zura. Perfect. 4 bits by 4 bits. So we normally start the grouping from the right side corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That means these 4 has to be one set. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 has to be another set. 1, 2, 3, 4. This has to be another set. Okay. In this question, we have completely proper sets. Okay. So if you categorize them separately, one of the set is 1001. The other set we have is 1101. The other set we have is 0011. Now we have to find out what is a one digit representing these 4 bits, what is a one digit representing these 4 bits, and what is a one digit representing these 4 bits. To do that, we write the first 4 bits place value 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3. The first 4 binary digits place value 1, 2, 4, 8. You just remember the order of 1, 2, 4, 8, 1, 2, 4, 8. Whenever 0 is there, cut the place value. See, wherever 0 is there, we cut the place value. If 1 is there, I just keep the number as it is. And then I write the sum of the remaining. Here 2 and 1 is remaining. Sum of that is 3. Here 8 and 4 is remaining. 8 plus 4 is 12. Here 8 and 1 is remaining. So 8 plus 1 is 9. Now, in hexadecimal, I told you what happens is if 4 bits are represented as one digit. So 1001, that's represented as 9. 0011, that's represented as 3. Now, if you take 1101, 4 bits, is it represented using one digit here? Based on what I've written here, is this 4 bits? 8 plus 4, sorry, 8 plus 4 plus 1. So 8 plus 4 plus 1 is 13. Sorry, 8 plus 4 plus 1, that's 13. Is this 4 bits represented as one digit here? No. Okay, you can see there are 2 digits. So in hexadecimal, what do you call, we always want to represent 4 bits as one digit. To make sure we have only one digit here for 2 digit numbers. So normally 2 digit number starts from 10 now. So 10, 11, 12, it goes in that order. Okay. So for two-digit numbers, we started using letters to represent them. So the capital letter A is used to represent 10, B is used for 11, C is used for 12. So this goes in a sequential order. That goes in sequential orders. Now, based on that, tell me if A is equal to 10, what is the letter equivalent for the number 13? A is 10, B is 11. So likewise, if you see 13 is equal to, yes, Andrea. Perfect. 13 is equal to D. So now what you do is you just join them together. So the final answer is 9D3. 4 bits are represented using one digit. 4 bits, one digit, 4 bits, one digit. So hexadecimal is a number system created to shorten binary number. So you can see how long this binary is. Once we shortened, we got a number like this. Yes, Fayaz. So answer is 9D3. If you got that correct, mark that correct, 1 mark there. Okay, tell me out of 2 marks, how many marks you got here all of you? The base is 12, eh? Sorry, base is 16. So I have not written it properly here. Wait, I'll just rewrite it properly. Hexadecimal base is 16. Okay, so with that, we're done for the day. The balance questions we'll be discussing next week. Actually, next week we'll be discussing STLC questions. Most probably. Yeah. By the way, those who are not, I'll be sharing the paper in the group. So those who are not there in the group, I'll share the link in the chat. Just click on that link and make sure you join the group. Anyways, with that, we're done for the day. Those who have any questions or can ask, others I can leave. अभी हाँ 22nd July was 22nd was week before the last. Abhi, was that the day I started the third lesson? In the second day of the third lesson. When did I start the third lesson? Nabi, can you WhatsApp me a second day? Can you WhatsApp me a picture of the? Okay, I'll send that to you. I'll send. Okay, Hannah. Yeah, Nabi, I'll send you the recording WhatsApp. Okay, Surya. No, Binoli, before this, I did another programming question. Just watch the recording. There was one whole paper I did. Not now. Once I know, I'll discuss Hannah's question and then come to yours. Oh, that's nice, Shadow. Not yet. You're welcome. Bye bye. Okay. Let's check. Why can't I save this question? I'll be posting a recording in the group. Just join the group, Durgesh, and I'll send there. Okay. Okay, Shaza. Right. Let's check your answer. I'll check your answer, Hannah. Write the output for the below Pascal program. Let's see. So we can see there's a variable called num and total. So I'll have a column for num. I'll have a column for total. And then I have a condition is num less than or equal to 10. So for that also I have one column. And for the final output, let me have another column. So for every input, one column. Sorry, for every variable, one column. For every condition, one column. And for the final output, we have one common column. When the program starts, always the program is starting after the word call begin. So they are saying num equals 1. So I'll write here num as 1. Then total equals 0. So I'll write total as 0. Repeat total is equal to num into num. So num is 1. So 1 times 1 is basically 1. So value of total is 1. Write ln total. Let me display the value of total. That's going to be 1. Then num equals num plus 1. Currently num is 1. Num plus 1 means 1 plus 1. That's equal to 2. Then here we're going to come and check is num less than or equal to 10? Is 2 less than or equal to 10? True. So the program stops. Okay. Yeah, the program stops. So the output here is what about the total equals num? What about the total equal num? Where is total equals num here? Yeah, total equals num into num. You may be asking, what about having that as a column? No, we are having one column each for every variable. So in this equation, what are we doing? We are going to calculate the value of num into num, and the answer of num into num, we are going to give it for total variable. So do we have a column for total variable? Yes. So that's enough. I did not tell that we write one column each for every process. I said we write one column each for every variable is mentioned. So what is the variable used here? Total. That's right. Anyways, output is going to be 1 here. Answer is 1. Because repeat until loop, if the condition is true, the program stops. Got it? What you might do is you might have gone and repeating. You would have considered this as false. I mean, you would have taken true to repeat and false to stop. Is that what you got? I use a total thing. What do you mean by total thing? At the end of the question is asking the output. Output is just 1. Total equals num in num. Okay. You don't care about the right on the at the end of the day, the question is asking the output. So did you get the output as 1 or did you get the output as something else? What is the output you got? How did you get 0? I mean, the value of the question is saying the value of total is equal to the value of num into value of num. So before we came to this statement, you can see the value of num was 1. So I replace the variable's value with its actual value. So 1 times 1 is equal to 1. So when you say write L in total, this 1 only gets displayed. Makes sense? Okay, perfect. Let me come to your question now, Suraya. No, I finished the Finish the following pseudocode to answer A, B, and C. So why write the expected output? So in this program, we have a variable called total. We have a variable called count. We have a variable. So we have a condition is count less than 10. and we have the output column. So one column, we have condition as well. The second condition we have here is count mod 2 equal 0. Is count mod 2 equal to 1, sorry. And then we have the output column. So here when the program starts, total is equal to 0, so I write that. Count equals 1, I write that. While count is less than 10, is 1 less than 10? Yes, true. While loop, we follow the instructions inside the while loop. That's from here to here. Okay, from here to here, while to end while. While loop, the instruct condition is true, we follow the instructions inside. Probably, Hana, they would have, the marking scheme have multiple answers, Hana. Like 1, 4, 9, something like that. Was the answer like 1, 4, 9? Hmm? Was the answer 1, 4, 9? Probably because the condition, they would have, that's a mistake in the question. It should have been, why, if the question was like until number is greater than or equal to 10, then it's correct. We had the part less than or equal to 10, right? People always forget the while loop and repeat until loop, people mix it up. In repeat until loop, only if the condition is false, the repetition happens. If it's true, it stops. So if this was while number is greater than or equal to 10, then it's correct. Make sense? That's a mistake in the question. So what do you call? We're going to follow the instruction inside because the condition is true. If count mod 2 equals 1, currently the value of count is 1. So 1 mod 2 means 1 divided by 2. So 2 times 0 is 0. And mod operator is used to do the division and get the remainder. So mod is used to get the remainder, div is used to get the answer. So if you go and see, is count mod 2 equal 1? That means the value of count is 1. No? Is if 1 mod 2 equals 1, 1 divided by 2 is the remainder 1? Yes. So answer is true. So because the condition is true, we're going to follow the instruction inside. Total is equal, total plus count. Total is 0, count is 1. So total plus count is 0 plus 1, answer is 1. Then we have display count. So value of count is 1. So 1 gets displayed. After end if we have count equals count plus 1. So value of count is 1. 1 plus 1, the value of count becomes 2. When you reach end while, you'll again go and check the condition. So now when you go and check, is the value of count less than 10? Count is 2, is 2 less than 10, answer is true. Up to here, Surya, did you understand how it works? How it worked? Correct. Perfect. Then we have if count mod 2 equals 1, currently count is 2. So if you check is 2 mod 2 equal 1, 2 divided by 2, 2 times 1 is 2, remainder is 0. So if 2 mod 2 equals 1, that's false. So if it's false, there's nothing we have to do here because you can see the if condition. They have mentioned the if, then end if. They have not mentioned what to do if the condition is false. If you have the word called else, that's what defines what to do if it's false. But here we don't have the else. So there's nothing to do if the condition is false. We go for the instruction after end if. After end if, here count equals count plus 1. Currently count is 2. So 2 plus 1, count becomes 3. When you reach end value, again go and check the condition. Is count less than 10? Is 3 less than 10? True. If count mod 2 equals 1, if you divide 3 by 2 is remainder 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, 1 remains, answer is true. If it's true, total equals total plus count. Total is 1, count is 3, 1 plus 3 is 4. Display count, so 3 gets displayed. Count equals count plus 1, count becomes 4. Then you again go and check is count less than 10, is 4 less than 10? True. Is 4 less than 10? True. If count mod 2 equals 0, if you divide 4 by 2, is the remainder 0? Answer is false. So there's nothing to do inside the if condition. We directly go for count equals count plus 1. Currently count is 4, so count plus 1, count becomes 5. When you reach n value, again go and check the condition is 5 less than 10. True. If count mod 2 equals 1, answer is yes. Total equals total plus count. 5 plus 4 is 9. Display count, 5 gets displayed. Then we have count equals count plus 1, count becomes 6. N value, again go and check the condition is count less than 10. Is 6 less than 10? True. If count mod 2 equals 1, if we divide 6 by 2 is the remainder equals 0. 2 times 3 is 6, 0. So that's false. Then after end if we have count equals count plus 1, so 6 plus 1 becomes 7. When you reach n value, again go and check the condition is 7 less than 10. True. If count mod 2 equals 1, when you divide 7 by 2 is the remainder 1. Yes. Total equals total plus count. 9 plus 7 is 16. Display count, 7 gets displayed. Count equals count plus 1, counts 8 now. Is count less than 10? True. If count mod 2 equals 1, that's false. Then count equals count plus 1, that's going to become 9. When you reach n value, again go and check the condition 9 less than 10. True. If count mod 2 equals 1, you divide 9 by 2, 2 times 4 is 8, 1 remains. Yes, true. So bigger it's true, total equals total plus count. 9 plus 16 is 25. And display count, 25 gets displayed. Then count equals count plus 1. Then currently count is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. Now when you again go and check is count less than 10, answer is false. So when the while loops condition gives you false, the loop stops. So now you go for the instruction after n while. After n while we have display total. Total is 25. So 25 gets displayed. So first question is asking you, write the output of the pseudocode. The output is 1357 25 25. Is that clear? No, 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 no. One small mistake. 13579 25. I should have displayed without displaying count, I have displayed total. So it's 13579 25. Okay, that's the output. Okay, so this 13579, these were displayed from display count. 25 was displayed from here, display total, and then the end program finishes. What would happen if the count is 25 coming there? Yeah, because they mentioned display total. That's also an output. I told you we put all the outputs in one column. We don't put in multiple columns. What would happen if the count equals count plus 1 is removed before the end if line, end while line? If the count equals count plus 1 is removed, the program will not stop. Because every time we go and check is count less than 10, count less than 10. If always the value of count is going to be 1, then what will happen is the program will keep on repeating without a stop. So you can write the answers, it will become an infinite loop. It will become an infinite loop. Infinite loop means a loop that doesn't have an ending. It will become an infinite loop. And the program will never end. Is it clear? What would be the output if while count is less than 10 is replaced with while count is greater than 10? The output while count is greater than 10. So if you mention why now, let's say the program is rerunning. Okay. The program is rerunning. The first initial value here is total equals 0, count equals 1. So total is 0, count is 1. Now tell me if I go and check for the while loop, if I have the condition as while count is less than 10. If I go and check is the value of count less than 10, is the value of count greater than 10? If I go and check this as my condition, what will be the result of my condition? True or false? The program restarted. The value of total is 0, count is 1. At that time, if I go and check is the value of count greater than 10, what will be the result? True or false? What is the value of count at the moment? What is the value of count at the moment? 1. So is 1 greater than 10? No. So the result is going to be false. So if the result is false, are we following any instructions between while and end while? Are there any instructions to follow? No. So we go for the instruction after end while. After end while, we had display total. What is the value of total? No. Look at the diagram I wrote in maroon color. No, maroon color. How did the total become 25? I mean, we did not follow any instructions inside. The program started. Total was equal to 0. Count was 1. Okay, total was 0. Count was 1. We checked this condition. It was false. So after here, directly we came here. What is the value of total? 0, exactly. So if you look at this properly, let me just send a screenshot before I erase this. Okay, you can see the program started. The value of total was 0. Value of count was 1. So in the while loop here, if we had while count is greater than 10, is count greater than 10 if you have here? Okay. If that's going to give false, you're going to completely stop, completely omit following this instruction and directly you're going to come here. So if you look at the value of total, total was set here as 0 and after that it was not yet modified. So the output will be 0. Make sense? Okay, next. You want the Roman number 2 as well? Okay. A library charges a fine for overdue books. If a book is returned within 7 days after the due date, the fine is rupees 20 per day. Otherwise, the fine is rupees 50 per day. Within 7 days, rupees 20. Within 7 days after the due date. Otherwise, 50. A program reads a number of overdue days and displays the total fine. Sample inputs and the expert outputs are shown. Develop an algorithm for this problem using a flowchart to calculate and display the fine amount for a single student. Okay. So it's going to be something like this. Begin. And first of all, you're going to ask how many days the person took. So input days. Okay. So if you put 5 days as an input, output is 100. That's basically 20 rupees per day. 7 times 20 is 140. 10, 7 times 20 is 140 or 10 times 55. Okay, fine, perfect. So input days, and then if the number of days is, if the within 7 days, so if days is less than or equal to 7, if days is less than or equal to 7, because within 7 days, if you, what do you call return, 20 rupees is going to be charged per day, no? So if days is less than or equal to 7, then fine equals days into 20. Else, fine equals days into 50. End if, and I'm going to be like display fine, end of the program. So we're going to ask how many days he's taking to return the book. If it's less than or equal to 7, then for each day we're going to take 20 rupees. Or else for each day we're going to take 50 rupees and we're going to find the fine amount and we're going to display it. Is that clear? Perfect. Modify the flowchart for A above. So they're asking flowchart. You just have to convert this pseudocode to flowchart. You know how to convert this pseudocode to flowchart, right? Okay. I don't have enough of space, so just ignoring that. Modify the flowchart for A above to display the fine amounts of 5 students. Okay. So when you want to display the amount for 5 students, it should keep on repeating this instruction 5 times. So for that, we are use a while loop. So we can do that like this. We can be like begin count equals 1 while count is less than or equal to 5, do, and same thing is going to happen. So within the while loop, we're going to have the same instruction, end while. So before the while loop, we'll have the count equals count plus 1 part. Count equals count plus 1. End while, end. So what's going to happen is these instructions I wrote here, that's input days, if days, I want to repeat that 5 times. To repeat that 5 times, I'm going to use a while loop. So initially count is going to be 1. And then within the loop, I'm going to follow the instruction increase value of count by 1. And I'm going to keep on repeating this to make sure I get 5 times. So like when count is 1, it repeats. When count is 2, it repeats. When count is 3, it repeats. When count is 4, it repeats. When count is 5, it repeats. When count becomes 6, the condition will give false. So 5 times it will repeat. Make sense? So yeah, that's how you do this question. I gave you a rough idea of how to do this question. If you didn't understand, let me know. Okay, perfect. So with that, we're done for the day. Let's meet in. I think I answered all the questions. I did not get any other questions. So yeah, let's meet in the next week's class. Have a nice day.